What's up, fellow finders of the path? It is I, your humble guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense that is the OGGM. It is a lovely Tuesday morning here at Site B. The sun is out. The sky is kind of hazy and overcast and muggy because, I live on the beach. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning on this, the 11th day of July, which means if you are lucky enough to have a 7-Eleven where you live, free Slurpees. More importantly, Pathfinder. Gotta hand it to Paizo. They managed to keep themselves at least in the news in some form almost every day. Sometimes it's actually interesting news worth talking about, like the evolution of the ORC, and hopefully they remove the two things that were wrong before they finally send it to the copywriter. But yeah, and sometimes it's just pointless things like, hey, we made a thing. So in the annals of, hey, we made a thing, Pathfinder Paizo really wants you to know that they are doing this Rage of the Elements 2nd edition thing. It's coming out in, I guess, a couple days. And it's going to be over premiering at Gen Con. And it's a huge adventure path / source book all about, wait for it, the elements. Now, if doing this elemental themed thing sounds familiar, like, Temple of Elemental Evil / Princes of the Apocalypse / they already did a huge elemental themed adventure path. Well, that's because it is. It is definitely a homage to Temple of Elemental Evil and the previous elemental adventure path they did. But this is now the 2nd edition version of the elemental thing. And in case you were wondering what the theme of Rage of the Elementals adventure path / source book is, it's elements. So it's divided into multiple chapters, each one based upon a specific element, as well as telling the story of the beginning of the adventure path. So obviously one chapter is devoted to air and has tons of new air spells, tons of new air elementals, the air element lords. This is the one they're previewing. And then the other 3, earth, fire, water, heart, time, chocolate chip cookie, all the elements will be covered in this huge adventure path / source book. So if you are playing Pathfinder 2nd edition or waiting for revised Pathfinder 2nd edition core Infinity to come out, and you want an amazingly well-written, huge adventure path / source book dedicated to all things earth, air, fire, and water, and heart, and time, and chocolate chip cookies, because chocolate chip cookies is the most important element, there's this, in case you can't find a copy of Temple of Elemental Evil, which is still the original and probably the best version of this story. And it's not like it's original. I mean, it's like, when in doubt, go the elements. When in doubt, go Lovecraft. When in doubt, go the Zodiac. When in doubt, go dragons. They're easy things to crib, right? So, and apparently it involves blimps and flying boats. I don't know about anybody else. I'm kind of sick of the whole flying boat thing. It was cool for a while, but now it's kind of like, whatever. Floating tent, actually, that's kind of cool. Pointless and dangerous, but kind of cool. Hey, look at the tent float by. Oh, man, I hope nobody's in it. All right, also from Paizo. Paizo wants us to know that they are jumping in on the alternate reality video game, whatever you call it, VTT thing, even though they already were, but they're doing it again. So they are now collaborating with a company called Mirroscape. Am I even reading that night? Can I even read? Mirroscape. To bring us augmented reality, Pathfinder, Starfinder things. So this is where I guess this works on the phone and a tablet, which means everybody at the table has to have the phone and the tablet. Everybody at the table has to have a phone and the tablet that can run the processing to get these, and then the DM will put the picture on his screen, and then you log in at the exact same time to see what the DM put on the table, and then you reach down and put your hands on the thing, and the camera will show your hands on the thing and overlay your hands on the thing with the image that wow. Okay, I get lightheaded just thinking about it. So let's just rewind back to the fact that Everybody at the table would have to have a tablet or a phone. Everybody at the table would have to have a tablet or a phone that is running the exact same program that the DM is running with the exact same speed and specifics for this to work. And for the amount of money and time it would take you to get this up and running, and the amount of time it's going to waste for it to catch everybody's TV and stuff to catch up, you could have just drawn this on a piece of paper and use the figures as is. Just tossing it out there. I know I'm a Luddite. I know I need to catch up. Dude, technology, phone. But I'm sorry. I've played with the technology phone several times. And yeah, no, it doesn't work. Sorry. I mean, we're still, I don't know if it would ever work, because you're completely dependent upon the speed and processing power of the phones at the table, and agreeing that everybody would fork out the money to run this, when it would just be so much simpler to just draw it on a piece of paper. Literally, so much simpler. Sometimes in our quest to make things easy and cool and technologically important, we forget the basis of the whole thing is just drawing lines on a piece of paper. And that at the end of the day, does anybody really care? I mean, I guess the figures and the props are kind of cool, but again, it's really just all about, going through the adventure. And I don't want to be looking at my phone the whole time at the table to try and figure out where my character is. I don't know about anybody else. That's about anything else going with Paizo? No, of course, other than ORC is just out there. And hopefully ORC has gone through its final evolution / editing / hey, maybe we should remove this one line here, and off to the copyright, which means if you've never copyrighted anything, it's not as complicated as people make it out to be. It's actually relatively simple to copyright things. Mostly it just means you give them money. They will run it through something to check to see if you have not violated the 3 points copyright rule or the 5 points copyright rule. And as long as you haven't, but damn, the next 70 years, that thing is yours. I've got like 3 copyrights. Who cares? It means I just basically spent $40 to copyright something, and nobody else can use those for however much time is left. 50 years, probably. So hopefully soon we will have the official sticker stamp thing that you can print on your product if you want your product to be protected by the ORC. But I would recommend you watch one of my videos about the ORC, or watch Tanker's video about the ORC to make sure that this is the, I don't know what to call it, the open source contract that you want to protect your product under. You can still technically use the OGL. The OGL is still out there. We're just sort of forgetting about it because of the ORC, but that's out there too. And there's a couple others that are out there, and we're still waiting to see the ones that might come in the future. I mean, there's nothing stopping from somebody else making one, looking at the ORC and looking at the Wizards of the Coast Creative Commons and going, I can do better. So, yeah. I mean, we still haven't seen 7CD7 or the one that Green Ronin is working on, and there's probably others being worked on that we don't know about. But right now we know the ORC is done. So, yeah, I guess we're going to see an elemental-themed adventure path from Paizo coming up. And Paizo is also jumping into the virtual reality, augmented reality bandwagon, because everybody's jumping into the virtual reality, augmented reality, virtual tabletop bandwagon. And I think the more people that jump on that bandwagon, the more people are just going to go, I could just draw this on a piece of paper. I don't know. That's just me. I like paper. I'm a Luddite, and we all know, and I'm a scrub DM, white belt, mediocre idiot who's just chasing clout. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate this nonsense, let me know. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please take a moment to subscribe to the OG GM Adventures. Help me hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year. And of course, you could take all your hard-earned money and buy that $100 VTT argument in reality. Or you could just take $2. Head on over to Big Geek Emporium and buy some of my amazing merch, which is just as good, if not better, than this stuff, but only costs $2. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying. Yes, for remote play. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. If you can't get together, then VTT remote play. But again, everybody's computer has to be running it at the exact same speed. I've done VTT remote games, and my piece of crap computer can't keep up with the other computer, and then my little figure is all the way still in the dark, 2 pages behind everybody else's little figure. So it's just like playing, Diablo and not being able to catch up because it's the processing of my computer. So yeah, it still has a way to go, and I still prefer paper. But that's just me. So I'll talk to you amazing people later. Till then, drive careful and of course, stay off my land.